module is about group time. Group time, also known as circle time, is a time when children can get to know each other and understand themselves as a member of the group. Group time can be used for a lot of activities, anywhere from singing familiar songs to looking at the weather, doing favorite finger plays, doing chants, show and tell, learning something new, instructions for something. So group time has a lot of ways to use the time. There are mixed reviews on the effectiveness of whole group, and whole group instruction should be planned. It's a good time for teachers to use for direct teacher instruction. When the teacher gives instructions, though, they should be explicit. Directions should build on stated curriculum goals. When teachers give direct instructions, they should make sure that the content is something that the children are familiar with. Kindergarten teachers were surveyed and asked what were their top priorities for skills for entering kindergartners. And they said that the top 2 priorities were that they communicate their needs and preferences and that they listen, they attend to adult and peer talking. Preschoolers who spend time in large groups or small groups learn essential skills for readiness for kindergarten. Some of those skills are taking turns, listening to others, speaking, focusing, communicating individual ideas, and being part of a group. When planning whole group activities, consider the child's capacity for their attention span before you plan your activities. What happens and when it happens should be roughly outlined. At the beginning, the teacher should focus the children's attention before she begins her instruction. If the group time is lengthy, then the activity should include movement as well as sitting. The seating arrangement needs consideration because some children don't do well sitting next to others, and some need to have a place to move. Those children need to be in the back so they can move and squirm without disturbing the children that like to sit still and focus. At the beginning of circle time, a teacher should plan a transition, some way to get their attention. Small group time should also be planned with the child's attention span in mind. Once again, have it mapped out, know what's going to happen and when it's going to happen. It should be roughly outlined, and begin group time by capturing the children's attention. One way I've done this is with a small bike bell. I bought it at a local department store. It just is about this big. It has a lever and pull it back and it just dings. It makes a quiet ding and it's a tone that's different from the other sounds in the room, and the children remember it, and they remember that that's the tone that the teacher uses when she wants our attention. You can use a xylophone, or you can tap on a musical triangle, or you can have a puppet make an announcement. Any kind of noise that captures their attention that's different and not offensive is useful. On the outside, an effective teacher looks at ease and looks in control of the group. But underneath, the teacher is really a great planner. She chooses to be enthusiastic. She chooses to make eye contact and use hand gestures. She chooses to listen to children and to repeat what they are saying so that she's understood and they know that she understood what they're saying. She watches the clock and makes sure that the time is not too long or too short. She watches to see if the children are interested and if the subject needs to be changed. She watches behavior and attention patterns, and the children that need to be separated and the children that need to sit close or sit in the back of the room. Try thinking about transitions, and so when you transition, try singing a song to a familiar tune. So for example, The Bear Went Over the Mountain. You might use that as a time to transition to We're Going to Lunch. Instead of saying The Bear Went Over the Mountain, you might say the children are going to lunch. Or use an identifying factors to line up the children. So for example, you might say, everyone who's wearing sneakers today, get in line. Or everyone who has brown hair, line up. Or everyone who's wearing a red shirt, line up. When circle time fails, and sometimes it does, the teacher needs to look at her own behaviors in the environment. Was the setting conducive for good involvement? Could all the children see what was going on? Was there room for everyone to be comfortable? Was the time too long? Were there other distractions? The teacher needs to look at her plans as well. Was the material developmentally appropriate? Was the material enthusiastically received by the children? Was it age level appropriate? Was it interesting? Was there too much teacher talk and not enough listening? Unfortunately, some beginning teachers seem to possess an overwhelming desire to dispense information, eliminating children's conversation and reactions. And when this happens, circle time becomes passive listening times. Waiting a long time for a turn during circle time leads to frustration, which may cause children to tune out. A simple fact that most experienced teachers know is that active, involved children stay focused. Some more helpful hints for circle time are, before you start your circle time, review your goals, know what you're doing. Plan for active child participation and involvement. Make proposed circle time duration appropriate for the group's age. Practice language games and activities so that you can focus on the children. So you know the rules. Before you begin, it may seem silly to practice it without children there, but when you do, you'll be more sure of what the rules are and what you're doing and the steps so that you can spend more time focusing on the children. Think about the group size and the setting. Remember that it's better to stop before enthusiasm wanes. Consider the child's comfort. Identify possible room distractions. Plan how you're going to gain the child's attention. Realize attention when listening to a speaker plummets at about 9 minutes for adults, so for young children this can happen at even shorter intervals. Recapture attention by saying something that triggers a child's emotions positively. Some additional helpful hints for circle time are: focus the children at the beginning. State what you expect clearly. For example, boys and girls, please sit where you can see me. Try not to be hurried. Think about including activities that promote child decision making, guessing, voting, creativity of expression, and personal preference. Also problem solving and prediction making. You might have to stop the child that rambles. And you can do that in a kind way by saying, it's time for your friends to speak now. It's time for your friend's turn. Make eye contact with all children. Try to reduce waiting times. And remember that your skills will increase with time and with experience. We often bring children to circle and we ask them to sit crisscross applesauce. Have you ever tried this? It becomes uncomfortable after a while. Try it sometime and see how long you can sit without wanting to move. This is what we ask of children. No wonder they want to move. The most important part about circle time is that the teacher has an ability to monitor her students and understand when they've had enough and understand what interests them. Children are distracted by many things. It might be hunger, health, weather distractions, home problems, disabilities, and a multitude of other factors can change a child's behavior at circle time at any given time. Think about where the child is sitting and what are they looking at, what's behind you. There might be a big window there with lots of interesting things going on. That's going to distract the children. You might consider changing where you sit so that would change where children sit. A good teacher will notice these changes in the child's behavior on a daily basis and understand when a child is having a bad day. When the group is eager, engaged, responsive, and enjoying the experience, and the teacher feels she is interacting skillfully, it's a moment of togetherness and success.